Armando, thank you so much for doing this for us. Big Bang is all about social impact and those that do social impact. So thank you for joining us here today. And I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of the fabulous work of the Cardboard Project.
Absolutely. Thank you, Roy, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Well, I'm the executive director and I'm the founder of Cardboard Project, and our mission is a digital connection for all. We leverage technology so that we can serve our clients who live in digital deserts, and then we promote self-sufficiency through technology. With Cardboard Project, pre-pandemic, we were an in-person delivery. We actually started here in South Dallas. We started here at Cornerstone Kitchen. And the way we got started was that the people in the community who live in the backyard of Fair Park was not able to apply for jobs for the state fair season because they didn't have access to the internet, they didn't have access to a computer. So that's how we got started. We started having the community line up, and we would work with them so that they could apply for the jobs at the state fair, and many of them got hired. And you know, if you think about it, you can't just walk in anymore and knock on the door and fill out an application. I mean, you've got to do everything online.
So Armando, you're working day in, day out here in South Dallas. What does the digital divide look like for the average resident, the average business in South Dallas, and those that you interact with on a daily basis?
Well, especially now with the pandemic, it really put a spotlight on the digital divide. And what we see is people are not connected. They don't have access to a computer. They can't afford the internet. People that are just coming out of prison, returning citizens is how we refer to them, when they come out, their source of communication is the people in the community. They don't have access to global information. They don't have access to be able to have opportunities to apply for jobs. They don't have an opportunity to even apply for resources, government resources like SNAP. You have to register online. And so they're completely disconnected.
And now we're in the midst of a global pandemic, and it's a safety issue as well. It's a safety issue, it's economic development, it's telehealth. How does the average resident tell you about these issues that are going on in your community and the passion that comes with that?
I think we hear a lot of the messaging through a lot of our nonprofits that we work with. We'll give you an example. As we have an individual that was going through a program through the DA's office, and because of the pandemic, they're required to go online to adhere to whatever programs they need to go through, whether it's substance abuse program or whatever the situation is, but they're not able to because they don't have access. I have people that come in and say, well, I have to register for the COVID test, but how do I register online if I don't have access to the internet?
Right.
And the other thing too is that 32% of our guests, we refer our clients to as guests, and 32% of our clients do not have a cell phone.
So Armando, how do we heal this divide? These divides tend to be in low-income areas, in rural communities, in areas of high concentration of senior citizens. I know you've been active in the community in terms of healing this divide. This is a problem we can solve in our lifetime. What are you doing today, and I know you're doing a lot, to close digital divides in your community?
We pivoted into a virtual world now, but we still connect with the community. We're the boots on the ground. So some of the things that we're doing is connecting with the community through a video platform, and then we share screen and we teach them how to navigate. I think closing the digital divide is being able to have more public Wi-Fi access. I think there's also needs to be more education about how to access public Wi-Fi. Many of them don't know what that is or how to even connect it on their phone. So a lot of this is also education is super important.
Right.
I think also providing the community with more digital skills training programs throughout Dallas. I think that would be really helpful to help close that gap. My goal is to see every household have at least one computer in their home. In South Dallas, there's many residents or generational families that are living in one household. And it's impacting them from the young all the way to the grandparents in one household.
Going back to this device issue, going back to this equipment issue and the needs found in our communities of color, what can companies do? What can corporate America do? What can those that are trying to impact community do to close these device gaps that also exist that contribute to the digital divide?
Many of us take for granted how easy we have it being able to be digitally savvy, to be able to have access. And when I meet with technology companies and other corporations talking about what we do in South Dallas, they're like, wow, I take for granted that I can just get on the internet just like that. Mm-hmm. I take for granted that I can just go anywhere I want on the internet. And so I think that being able to involve technology companies in delivering the message, the problems that are going on here, and then seeing how we can bring solutions. Part of it would be to be able to donate equipment to the people in South Dallas and Dallas County. I think that's important. But I think it's delivering the message about what the problem is, and here are some possible solutions that we can bring it all together. Because for me, I think it's all about a win-win. Everybody should win at the table.
Right.
The corporations should be able to get involved. Technology companies should be getting involved. I think the community needs to be heard. And I don't think, and that's missing right now.
Well, thank you for what you do, and one of the other issues is certainly digital skills, and I know you're really passionate about that. The digital age is here, right? And we have to think about, how do we create these pipelines of individuals that can use these tools to gain a job, for job creation. As you work with so many different clients, what's their passion? What are they seeing? How do you steer them to these opportunities where digital skills are needed, and that leads to a job?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because right now we've had about 67 participants that have gone through our digital training program this year, starting in March. We have over 50 people on the wait list right now. And one of the things that we noticed is that there is a lot of Latinos that speak Spanish that are desperately in need to learn digital skills, to the point that, in fact, this Saturday, we're launching 2 Spanish-speaking cohorts teaching digital skills. That's the demand. And we had a young lady, her name is Claudia, and Claudia, when she came in, she had no digital skills at all. And when she graduated from this program, she went back to her employer and told her about what she's been learning. So she's been entering data into the system for this employer.
Wow.
When they found out how she was starting to get the groove and she was really learning, they promoted her to a supervisor because of the digital skills that she learned. She's now earning $17 an hour just by going through this program, an 8-week program.
Wow.
In fact, just this week, she's been promoted to a higher level, where she's now going to start training her team how to use the computer. So it's just really amazing what the impact is.
Wow.
That's how much need there is for digital skills training.
Yeah, I mean, as our economy grows and expands, digital skills are becoming even more and more important. So if you have those skills, the opportunities for jobs and our economy is exponential. So thank you for what you do. But another issue kind of at the baseline is the issue of affordability. So many of our families in South Dallas and Southern Dallas and even in North Dallas have trouble affording the internet. It could cost upwards of $60, $70, $80 a month. And when you have to balance that with food, medicine, car, home, sometimes that gets put on the back burner. But I understand that you're working on a program and you're outreaching on the emergency broadband benefit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the great things is that Cardboard Project is a community partner with the FCC. And as a result of that, they have launched the emergency broadband benefit. So the community can have up to a $50 voucher that will be discounted on their internet bill monthly with the participating providers. And then they also get a up to a $100 voucher discount for any equipment that they need with participating providers that they work with. That right there is a big help for people. We met one of our community members. He's paying $90-something a month, and because of this emergency broadband benefit, he's now paying like 40 bucks a month for it, and that's
Great.
been a big help for him and his family.
You know, the Internet for All Coalition put out a report, and one of the components was the need for more digital navigators to help clients just navigate where they go in closing their digital divide. It's digital skills, affordability. We can replicate more Armandos out there. How do we replicate more Armandos out there that can navigate this ecosystem that can be somewhat complex?
I think bringing people that are passionate and committed to making a difference in our world, number one. Number two, I think people that are passionate about the digital divide and wanting to be a part of closing that gap, and being able to bring people together, train them, teach them the power of having access, and then be able to go out with the libraries. You know, the library staff should be doing what libraries do. And the digital navigators being able to go in and to teach and to educate, that's one way that we can start making a difference in South Dallas.
I want to talk about opportunities on the horizon. You know, right now is a game-changing time. There's a ton of federal money out there available for communities, but it has to be expended in the right way. What other opportunities are out there where communities can take advantage of kind of this once-in-a-lifetime funding opportunities that are coming down from Washington, from Austin, from the city of Dallas? How do we create efficiencies in closing gaps in the digital space, especially when there's good money out there available to close these gaps?
I know that the city of Dallas is working on some projects throughout Dallas that are exciting, and also, you know, being part of the South Dallas Employment Project. You know, there's some initiatives that are going on there that's very exciting, that I think that's going to really make a difference in our communities. Being able to have access to this type of funding will allow us to be able to provide more public Wi-Fi, be able to provide more educational workshops. And it's not just the communities, it's also about the nonprofits that are out here, all the nonprofit organizations, like here at Cornerstone, like here, this office building here.
Right.
Being able to come in here and analyze what's going on, and be able to provide internet more power.
Absolutely, Armando. And you know, one of the things that we also need to emphasize is the role of the internet service provider. Talk about the partnerships that could potentially be created. You know, sometimes we demonize the internet service providers for not serving a certain community, but they can also be wonderful partners as well. What experiences have you had in working with internet service providers, and how can they partner with an organization such as yours?
It's about educating the providers about what the real problems are. I think also allowing providers to engage with the community, to educate them about which is the best way to maximize your internet, the equipment that's required to educate them, where's the best place to place it so that you can have better internet service. I think that there's a lot of opportunity there for ISP providers to be able to come in and truly engage with the community. Many of our nonprofits and even our community, sometimes they don't even understand their bill. They don't understand, you know, what a 5G is. They don't understand what they're paying for, really. Understanding the problem, and then let's come up with some solutions.
What final thoughts do you have in terms of closing the digital divide in Dallas County and South Dallas, in the city of Dallas?
And it goes back to, you know, the three things: connectivity, devices, and, like you said, in digital skills training. So I think the first thing is looking at the infrastructure. How are we working with the city? What are the solutions that are we coming up with? I think that's going to be really important. And then the equipment, like I said, you know, bringing in technology companies and to offer equipment to the communities. And then, of course, we've already started with the digital skills. I think being able to expand those kind of programs throughout, I think that's going to be really important. And I think that's what's going to start to bridge the digital gap. is being able to focus on these three main areas and then start bringing all the stakeholders and key players that can come in and really understand the true problems that the community is having.
Armando, we can't thank you enough for the work that you do, the service that you provide to this city, to this county, and in many ways it really begins and ends with compassion. So I like your pin there, but
Thank
it
you.
really takes compassion and dedication to do this work, and we thank you for what you do.
No, thank you, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Roy.